What is up, YouTube? This is BW302. I just thought I would do a reintroduction video into Yu-Gi-Oh! I know I would have liked a video like this for when I restarted Yu-Gi-Oh! I played Yu-Gi-Oh! In my early, I believe 3rd grade. Then I played all the way up to 8th grade, and then I just stopped after I started going to high school and stuff because, it wasn't cool back then. And then I just repicked it back up in college because I saw people were playing in, my university's cafeteria, and I was like, people still play that? They're like, yeah, there's a shop down on Main Street or whatever. So, I just repicked it back up from there, so. And I've been playing probably for, I believe, 3 years straight now, so yeah. I would just have liked a video like this to explain everything. I mean, when I started, Exceeds weren't around, just mad Syncros. But now that Exceeds are around, I figured, it's time that there's a intro video for all this. So let's get right into it. The first thing off the top of my head is priority. I know priority was really big when I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh, so I'm not really sure if back in the day it was as big for those who started first gen Yu-Gi-Oh and whatnot, but priority would have meant I summon hand. Opponent would ask, would you like priority on effect? I would say yes. Effect, target your monster. They would then have the chance to respond with bottomless, torrential, or whatever. So then I would still get the effect, but if it was bottomless, it's removed from play. If it was torrential, clear gets wiped anyway, so it wouldn't matter. Priority is gone now, so they have that chance to respond right when I summon the hand. Next thing off the top of my head is special summons. Special summons compared to first generation Yu-Gi-Oh! Have gone up drastically, to say the least. 6 Samurai, which is why I'm going to be running for regional this weekend, is the one deck I can think of that is just absolutely broke with special summoning. Because basically, summon Kageki, effect, special summon. I have a Samurai on field, special summon Kizan. Oh look, I have another one, special summon Kizan. Synchro to special summon a Synchro monster from my extra deck. The format for Yu-Gi-Oh! Has completely changed as far as special summoning. So you can special summon as much as you want. I know you guys can probably read this in a book or whatever, but I figure some people are visual learners, so I thought I would do a video. You can special summon as much as you want, and usually when they're special summoning from the extra deck, which are Syncros and Exceeds, they're going to be plussing majorly off of it. Either they're going to go for defense, negations, offensive powers, again, defensive for if your opponent tries to destroy. There's just so many options now for your extra deck, which I'm not sure if they limited back in the day, but you're only allowed 15 extra deck monsters, so choose wisely. Next thing I believe would be Syncros, which I was talking about. Syncros are monsters that would require a tuner and a non-tuner monster. As you can see, it says tuner on there. So you need one of these and one or more of the other monsters. The levels have to equal in order to be able to special summon a synchro monster from the extra deck. Also, some have specific requirements, like this one is. One warrior type tuner or plus one or more non-tuners 6 samurai monster. So this one specifically has to have 6 samurai monsters in order to be able to special summon this card from your extra deck. And just remember that the levels have to equal. So normal, effect, special, synchro into this guy. There are certain ones that are also generic, like Stardust Dragon, which is one of the more popular synchro monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because he's generic. So it's one tuner plus one or more non-tuner monsters. He's a higher level, so obviously they make the higher level ones more generic. So basically you don't require anything. So basically, say I already had hand on field. normal, special, I can synchro then all 3 of these into Stardust Dragon, who is, yeah, like I said, generic. So, just remember when you're building your extra deck, be sure that, they're not, just be sure of what is what. Be sure, is it a specific synchro, or is it generic? Now we go into Exceeds. Exceeds are monsters that, I know this is kind of will look retarded, but all you have to do is, say I have 2 Keysons, overlay into this guy, say, for instance. Yeah, you just overlay. You don't send to grave. That's the big thing about Exceed monsters, is that you overlay instead of sending it to grave like Syncros would. Plus, also, another tip for you Yu-Gi-Oh players. If you're playing D-Fissure with Exceed monsters, the materials do not get removed from play because they are not considered monsters. They're considered materials, so basically they would stay in graveyard. They don't get removed unless you're playing Macrocosmos, because that says any card sent to grave is automatically removed from play, so then the materials would get removed. But D-Fissure, materials do not count as monsters. And that's what these are considered now. The 2 monsters that you just overlaid to special summon this guy are considered materials. They're not considered monsters anymore. So if you were thinking of, like, for instance, Gravekeepers, the Searcher for Gravekeepers. If you overlaid 2 of those into Leviathan and detached 1, you would not get your search because it was not, A, it's not on the field, and B, it's a material, it's not a monster anymore. So, certain monsters, like, I know the water deck monsters, would get their effects because they're being sent for an effect. Say, like, for you new Yu-Gi-Oh players, look up Acid Golem. It says either you pay 2,000 life points, or you can detach a material from this during your standby phase. So if you had a water monster that had a certain effect and you detach it for Acid Golem, it would get its effect. Like, say it's Marksman. Marksman would get to pop a card on the field. So, a lot of the XC material monsters are generic. Samurai probably are the best ones at exceeding. I mean, compared to certain other decks, which get the higher ranks, which is another thing. Before I forget, these are considered ranks. They're on the opposite side of levels. So, if you're thinking of Gravity Bind, Level Limit Area B, these are not affected by those because they are considered ranks, not levels. So they would be able to attack and would not be forced to defense position. Certain exceeds, just like Syncros, are generic, like this one, 2 level 4 monsters, and just like this one is specific and needs 2 level 4 warrior types. So, again, more consideration for your extra deck. Extra deck is big in this new format, so whatever you have in your extra deck usually will turn the game around for you. It all depends on what you pick. So that's why I say a lot, be very considerate with what you're putting into your extra deck. I pretty much think I've covered everything. If you guys have any questions about Yu-Gi-Oh and whatnot, I'm thinking of maybe expanding more, maybe doing a couple more videos for this. I'm gonna be trying to put up a lot more videos for just more deck profiles and whatnot. I will probably put an update video on how I do with my deck for regional. Hopefully I do pretty well. I mean, it is Samurai, and I'm pretty confident in my build. I know I'm borrowing it from a friend, but who knows? I hope I do well. It's going to be my first regional, so we'll see. I just got to be on top of my game. So, yep. Leave any comments below. Any questions for you new Yu-Gi-Oh players? All I can suggest is, if you're getting back in, if you're thinking about a certain deck that you've heard about, Shriek.com has OCG, which is official card game, which is Japanese deck profiles for all the all the different decks and whatnot. So, and they play to win, whereas we play to make money. Like right now, $25 card, $25 card. We play to make money. They play to win. So their deck profiles usually, they may seem crazy, but they work. So Shriek.com, Pojo. Just go on YouTube, look up all the different deck profiles of whatever deck you're trying to build. One suggestion would be, don't try and completely copy it. Make it your own. Make it a different deck build. Be a little bit creative with what you build, because you can copy and do the same things that they do with their deck or whatever, but just make the deck your own. Just try and be a little bit original with it. That's one thing I think that this meta is lacking, is creativity. But if a deck is winning, depending on the build, who am I to say that people aren't being creative? It just works. So again, go on YouTube, look up all the top decks, go online, look up deck lists for what you want to build, what seems to be your style of play. Cards for top decks are going to be really expensive, except for Macro Rabbit, which is one of the top decks, just because it screws everything up over. But yeah, this is BWee302 signing off. Again, any questions, leave a comment below, message me, and that's it.